Hi Stampers, welcome back and thanks for joining me for another I Miss Your Face, an online card class. This is the second card for the episode 3 of this card series that I'm doing during the coronavirus pandemic of 2020. And I just want you guys to stay stamping. I miss you guys. I love seeing you in classes when we can do it locally. But in the meantime, let's just stay busy. Okay, so the second card looks like this, a little note. And then the good things in life are better with you. This card uses some designer series paper that we had last year during celebration when the Butterfly Gala stamp set and Butterfly Duet Punch came out. And I happen to have a bunch of this paper. And so we're just going to use it. And if you're doing this from home and you aren't local or you don't want to order a kit, see what you do have. I'm going to give you dimensions. You could change up colors to use up the papers that you have. But let me show you how I made this. All right. So for the card base, you need Highland Heather that measures 5.5 by 6 inches. And then we're going to score this. So you want it to measure 6 inches out. And we're going to score at 1 3/4. So right there. And then that is our card base, just like that. Okay. You will also need a piece of Whisper White that measures 5 by 7 3/4, and we're going to score this at the halfway point, which is 3 7/8. And if measuring isn't your cup of tea, then just fold this one in half. It's a little bit of an odd number, 3 7/8, but if you do want to score it, it is the very last score line before the 4. 3 7/8. Okay, and that should put you right in half. All right, let me get this out of here. And somehow I got that off kilter a little. I'm going to line it back up and use my bone folder. All right, so now this card goes inside this card right up to the fold and glues in place. All right, so we could actually go ahead and do that right now. So you just want to glue the back and glue the back to the back and get that centered so that you have an even border all the way around as best you can. And then this little flap comes over the top. Now, you're going to need a couple pieces of designer series paper. The first one is 1.5 inches by 5 1/4. And this will go right down the front here. Okay, let's glue that on. The other piece of designer series paper that you'll need is going to be for the inside of the white card. And it measures 4 3/4 by 3 5/8. 3 5/8 is one line past 3 1/2. If measuring isn't your thing. Okay, so let's go ahead and glue this in. Just like this. All right, so that is our card base. Now, as you can see, we're going to use some scalloped rectangle shapes in Gorgeous Grape and Balmy Blue. And the dies that I used are Stitched So Sweetly, and they are the 2 largest rectangles in that set. And so you will need, for one card, you will need 2 of the Gorgeous Grape in the smaller rectangle and one of the larger in the balmy blue. Okay, so one of the gorgeous grapes is going to get glued to the balmy, so let's go ahead and do that. Just getting that centered in there. Okay. And then in your kit, or if you're fussy or cutting for yourself, you need 2 white mats that measure 2 1/8. And these are going to go on the gorgeous grape scalloped rectangles. But let's do a little bit of stamping first, just so that if we make a mistake, it's easy enough to flip over. So on the very front of the card, we want to say a little note. There are other options in that Butterfly Gala stamp set if you would like to use something different. And of course, you could always pull from another stamp set as well. So this one gets a little note. And then that could be glued on. Okay, so this will eventually go right here, but not just yet. All right, now we need to fussy cut one of these large butterflies. And I already did my other sample with this particular butterfly, so I'm going to use the other one this time. And it's pretty simple to fussy cut these out. If you're getting kits from me, you will have a couple of options in your kit, one for each card, and you can fussy cut those. And I'm leaving a little bit of that balmy blue border around it because we have the balmy blue in our other scalloped rectangle frame. So this is just going to help tie that all together. And this is the butterfly that will be on the very front of your card. Cutting the antennas is the hardest part. Don't get too close. Leave some blue space around them and just move on. You don't want to make them so delicate that they fall off. All right. So now this butterfly is going to go right on here, and it's okay that it goes off the edges. It's going to look just fine. And I like the idea of popping this butterfly up. So I'm going to bring it in here and find some dimensionals. You can use as many or as few as you think will hold it. I'm just going to go with 3 right down the center. Remembering that some of this is hanging off the edge of the mat, so you wouldn't want to have any way out here because that's not going to work well later. Okay, now we're not ready to put this on, and I'll show you why in just a minute. So we're going to set that aside, and next we need a couple of butterflies that'll be from this panel. And the easiest way to cut these out is if you have the butterfly duet punch. If you don't, there's more fussy cutting in your future. But let's go ahead and cut a couple of these off of here. And if you're getting kits from me, you'll have an assortment of these. And you can either fussy cut or use your punch. And you want to separate them. However, that doesn't leave a whole lot for you to hold on to while you're punching it out. So use a Post-it note. I'm going to just put that Post-it note on here, and then it gives me something to hold on to while I get this centered in here. And just a heads up, the punch does eliminate the antennas. So if you really want your antennas, you're going to have to fussy cut. And we'll go like that. In there. Okay. And so that's how easy it is to cut out those butterflies if you have the punch. All right, now these butterflies are going to go on this little panel that will then go onto these scallop rectangles. And if you want them both to fit perfectly, you could arrange them so. But I kind of like having them go off the edges a bit. So a little bit like that. And if you had a little hello sentiment stamp, you could very easily add some little hellos or whatever you want. Once you get those on, if you've got overhang, you're going to want, well, I suppose you could leave them on like this. However, when you put all this together, this one is going to be in here, and then this one goes over the top, and you will see a little bit of that wing. So I think I'm going to go ahead and cut it off. You can do what you'd like when you're making yours at home, because it doesn't look bad to leave it off, but I don't really want it showing when the card is shut. So we'll just cut them off like that. And then that gets glued down. Now, the two scallops with the scallop rectangles with the two butterflies, this one, is the first one that you glue down. So you are going to put that on the front of the white inner card, getting it centered, and it glues down completely. Just like that. Okay, then you shut the card and you place this one right over the top of the other gorgeous grape rectangle. And I don't want to get my head in the camera here, so just like that. Okay, so that's going to hide the other one, but be careful when you're putting glue on this one because it's only gluing down the side. So I'm just going to put a squiggle of glue like that, and then get it lined up over the other purple. I need to lift this up and look again. Okay. You're going to need another piece of Whisper White that is cut to 2 3/4 by 4. And on this one, we're going to stamp another sentiment. This is also from the Butterfly Gala stamp set, and it says, "The good things in life are better with you." So I'm going to just ink that up, stamp it down, put that ink away. And then this is going to glue right in here. Like this. Okay, now, as you can see on my first card, we have some more little butterflies. Those are also punched out. So this time, we're going to use the little butterfly, and I can get this first one. I've already cut a little panel with 3 on it. I can get the first one, and I can get this second one. But for the third one, I will need to use a Post-it because I'm going to run out of something to hold on to. Plus, I need to get rid of this because it's not going to go in far enough. So let's get rid of this and get another Post-it. And if you have the long strips of Post-its, there's less waste. You could certainly use those. I just don't have any right at the moment. Okay, so there is that, and I'll save that Post-it for use on the next card. So now these 3 butterflies can get glued down wherever you like them on the inside here, and I kind of like that placement. So let's go ahead and glue them in. Now you can see that this card format is very simple if you wanted to use different designer series paper, and if you wanted to use some stamped images, flowers rather than butterflies, or anything else for that matter. So use your imagination if you're doing this from home and you're not getting kits from me. If you do get kits from me, when you're done, make some more using some paper that you have. And that's the end of this. Now, if you're getting kits from me, I want to tell you that you will get 2 butterflies for the front of your card, and you will get 4 for this section here, 2 for each card, because the kits I make are two kits for each of the 2 cards. So for your second card, though, I'm going to give you white butterflies. You'll still have to punch them or fussy cut them out, but you get to color those in. Whether you use Stamp and Blend markers or colored pencils is entirely up to you. And you might want colors of Stamp and Blends if you're going to use the blends. I use Highland Heather, light and dark, Purple Posy, light and dark, Daffodil Delight, light and dark, Balmy Blue, light and dark, Calypso Coral, light and dark, and Petal Pink, dark. These are just some colors that happen to go well with this, this card. So the colors in the front butterflies and so on. So you are going to have to color 2 and then just glue 2, just so you know when you get your kits. Okay, and then you'll also get 3 butterflies for 1 card, so for a total of 6, and I won't make you color those. So enjoy, have fun, and I miss your face.